Hello, my friends. Welcome to Multidimensional Human Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Archelaus. I am part excited to talk about this and just part nervous because today we're talking about overcoming self-censorship, aka when you feel like you are too weird for the world. What do you do? And we're also circling back to Project Gold Star, which I started with my friend Carrie, where we set just delusional, wonderful, big moonshot, I don't want to say goal, but desires for this year, knowing that absolutely anything is possible. And wouldn't it be really cool to have this happen for us? I will break out my Project Gold Star intuitive art drawing later on, but let's just suffice to say that in the center of this drawing is a golden egg. Yes, a golden egg, like in Willy Wonka. That's where the juice is, right? That's where we want to get. But to get to that golden egg is surrounded by self-censorship. So we got to break on through. We got to break that shell of self-censorship to get to the gold. And you may say, oh, okay, well, yeah, it's not that hard to be more honest or, even uncover what is true inside of yourself. Sometimes we gaslight ourselves. Sometimes we think we need to be appropriate in certain situations so we don't speak our truth. I get all that. But as this year has progressed, I've realized where I censor myself and how often I censor myself. And especially because this year I'm doing a lot of newer, bigger things. And here come the allergies. I feel like they're definitely related. I'm very aware now of like, oh, this is where I think I'm too weird, or this is where I hold myself back. So we're going to talk about those things. Maybe you can relate. Maybe you'll find a new level of honesty with yourself and with the world. And hey, that would thrill me. So let's get into what is good right now. Okay, I am like 4 weeks away from graduating with a Master's of Science degree in child and developmental psychology. I've enjoyed it. It's fun. And right now is the most fun because right now I'm designing my own research proposal. So I'm creating a study that could be performed by other people or me once, whatever. We'll get into that. It's a research proposal. And what it's going to look at is whether or not intuitive art, my modality, is a way to help people with alexithymia. Now, alexithymia is where you have difficulty or an inability to express how you feel, to know how you feel, to interpret how you feel. And that's a really big deal because if you think about it, how you feel is the first step in knowing then how to proceed, what to say, what to do, how to behave, right? So let's say you're in a situation where someone's hitting on you and you don't know what you're feeling. Are you feeling aroused? Are you feeling disgusted? It's really good for you to be able to know that. It's also hard to communicate with doctors. It's hard to advocate for your needs if you're not even sure if that's what you need because you don't know how to feel your emotions, or you don't know how to feel, you don't know how to interpret. So it's a really big deal for people who have this. I don't really have alexithymia per se, but I do suffer from delayed processing quite often. So I won't know how I feel until hours or days later. And it has been, like, I will say I have been embarrassed by this before because I was like, why didn't I react differently in the moment before I realized what this was? Why didn't I react differently in the moment? Why am I only feeling this now, to weird situations that I've been in? And so it's a big deal. Knowing how you feel is huge. So anyway, I'm beyond pleased to have this study being proposed of intuitive art. and alexithymia, and I have theoretical backing for it, and it's been so much fun to understand more about how we process emotions, the different theories around that, symbolic reasoning, and just nerdy science stuff, which is so much fun. I've got the science part, and I have the obviously intuitive art part, and those are fitting together really well at this point. Now, obviously, we haven't carried out the study. I don't know what the study would say if we did, but in essence, it could work, which would be wonderful. And my teacher has been very supportive of me using my own modality in this research proposal. I don't think that is very common. I don't think that most people have a modality that they could test out. And I have had one of my classmates tell me already that it's pseudoscience, which is wonderful, because pseudoscience is just something that we haven't measured or don't have a way to measure yet. And that is exactly why you would do a study. So I've already created the methodology for the study. I can tell you're getting bored, so I'm going to stop. I've already created the methodology for the study, which has been approved, and so we're in a good place. That's all I have to say. So I'm already starting to combine my intuitive part and my science part. And was I worried about that before I submitted it? Yeah, I was. And I even, for the first couple of weeks before we had to really pin down our research question or intervention, I was skirting around. I was backing off. And it wasn't until I finally had to, have it finalized that I was like, we're doing this intervention. We are doing it. And luckily it went over well. So it's not that easy. It's not that easy, even for me. And I made some notes. So, right, I'm an artist and I'm a scientist. And those don't usually go together because science is measured, it's data driven. That is not usually what an artist is all about. Usually artists are free flowing, internally guided, right? You could say intuitively guided, but they do have something in common. Usually both are aimed at pushing boundaries, right? Creating something new, right? When you do a PhD, you create new knowledge. We're furthering things with both art and science. And I think that's where I live. And so it's not like they're completely opposite ends of the spectrum. They could be, but there's also a little bit of overlap in that Venn diagram. But I still find myself holding back a little bit. So what can I do with a master's degree? Well, I could possibly teach. I could even teach at the college level in some places. Usually you have to have a PhD to teach psychology at college, but my local community college accepts resumes from master's degree holders. So I am applying to be in the candidate pool for a psychology instructor / professor. Some call it different things. And that's when I'm like, wait a minute. They're going to Google me and they're going to be like, who is this girl who dresses up like an alien? Is that who we want to be our psychology professor? And now they might not do that. They might not care. This is a very religious place, so maybe science and weird things like God go together quite often. I don't know. If you believe in God, that's fine. But it is weird, you have to admit, right? If religious could be normalized, then aliens can certainly be normalized. So I'm overcoming my own judgments. I'm overcoming my own boxes. I am having to say, well, I'm just going to go for it anyway, right? That's what I have to keep saying to myself. Like this podcast, right? This YouTube channel, this Substack, this everything, then my Instagram. Like, I am a person who loves to compartmentalize. I had a natal chart reading done from a really wonderful astrologer psychic, and she told me I love making boxes. I love making containers, is the word she used. And I was like, yes, I've got a container for everything that you need. And that's how I go about my life. I make a little container, I fill it up, I move on. I make a little container, I fill it up, I move on. And I love the feeling of that. It feels so organized and wonderful. But when I want to keep hauling out certain containers, it's like, and change my mind and focus on different things, it's like, do I have to create a whole new Instagram? Because I've got like 7, if you really want to know. I probably have 7 YouTube channels. I've got numerous websites, right? But I'm at that point in my life right now where I'm really trying to consolidate and just be me. Be me with everything underneath me. Just like last podcast, I am everything, even if what I focus on changes. And that is, I'm really kind of like strong arming myself into that. And I'm doing it because I feel like it's better for me, like psychologically. It's easier to manage for sure. It means that I don't have to think about where something's going to go. It means that there's less time between, oh, I have an idea for something, to actually creating it and then putting it out there. It's much less of a mental load when I just have fewer outlets for my excitement and enthusiasm. So that's why I'm trying to do it. That's why I'm trying to overcome that old momentum. Now, I'm still always going to have containers to fill up because one book is one book. You know, one card deck is one card deck. One drawing is one drawing. You know what I mean? So that's never going to change. I'm always going to be a project-oriented person. One study is one study. One paper is one paper. But in terms of relaying that information to the world, I really would love to pare down, which is what I've been trying to do lately. If you know, I am shutting down my Intuitive Art Academy temporarily. Really just the internal site. I'll still have an outside website that you could visit for information on everything. But I'm just doing a little bit of house cleaning, a little bit of consolidating. But as I do that, it's making me confront the fact that, yes, all of these things can go together because I already exist. I'm not forcing anything. I'm not trying to be weird to be weird. I'm not trying to have labels just to have labels because that's what's cool right now. Although I don't think being autistic is necessarily cool right now because, you know, I love, this is a random thought, I love what Ali Ostrander, one of my favorite pro runners, would say is a boff, a bowl of food. You just throw everything in there, you mix it up, and you take a bite. That is what I love. I love mush bowls. I just had one for lunch, actually. That's kind of what I want to be. I want to be comfortable in my mush bowl of a self, right? Talking about aliens, talking about science, writing a book. The other day, I spent some time writing jokes about things I observe while I'm naked. Like, yes, of course that fits in. Absolutely. I repotted some plants and now I have fungus gnats and I'm not very happy about it. So that's why this is happening. So that's what's up right now, basically. Let me pull this out. Okay. Project Gold Star. Golden Egg. Self-censorship. This is all focus and creativity, which is where I'm finding myself now. So that's a good thing, right? I've come into a space closer to this egg, which is great. I have wonderful creative projects going on right now, and I'm really enjoying myself, and I am having some focus issues and some focus. So as I continue to vacillate between wanting to be the weird, free-flowing, strange, off-the-cuff artist that I've always longed to be and love being, with the professional autistic advocate who has topics written in her video/Substack ideas such as tier ranking my neurodivergent traits. Should you tell your child they're autistic? And a book review for books I've read about autism, good and bad. Expect to find all of those things here. I am not going to, I say right now, create another Substack because right now my Substack is about writing about the intersection between being queer, being neurodivergent, and being extrasensory. And I feel like that encompasses all of these things. all of these things. I have great compartments in my brain, and then it's like there is a tsunami wiping them all away, and everything has to be one thing because that's what it really is. So are you like this too? I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with me whatsoever. There's nothing wrong with me. But do you relate to this? Is this something that you can feel with me? And it really just comes down to self-acceptance. Self-acceptance. I accept that I want to do all of these things. And the only reason I think they are separate is because of how society treats them, right? We have schemas that tell us that those are different things. And all I need to do is get below them in my mind and know that I can love all the parts of myself equally and that I can be free-flowing within all of them and that it all works because it's all me. That's really what needs to happen. And just like I say in almost every single video I've ever put out, I think, how do I accomplish that level of acceptance? Meditation. That's what works for me because it stops the negative thoughts. It stops the negative momentum and it gives me space to be that version of myself that is self-acceptance, that is self-love, and it strengthens that so that it's even stronger for next time. So I'm going to continue doing that. Let me know what your opposites are that you struggle with at times. If you like, you can tell me. If you have any advice for me, I'm all ears. And yeah, I think we're going to be okay. We're definitely going to be okay. And we're going to get into that golden egg. If you would like to do your own Project Gold Star drawing, you're welcome to join us, right? Just draw it out with your intuitive art. The class is still up. You can go to intuitiveartclass.com. It's free. And take the free class. We'll show you how to do all of this, how to interpret it, and just insert the prompt for this instead of the one that's in the class. Although the one that's in the class is great. I'm pretty sure it has to do with realizing more abundance in your life, which who doesn't want that? It just made me think actually of something else I was going to talk about. Maybe I'll do it in another episode, but basically how I love the bougie life. I love designer things. And I also daydream and have since I was a child about living off-grid in a tiny little cabin where I have to, cut my own wood and go haul in my own water and have like a dirt floor. That's like, both of those are equally appealing to me. And in fact, maybe the dirt floor is a little bit more appealing. So I've got that too. But I can have both. I can have all the things in the world, and that is what Gold Star is all about. It's having everything that you want. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. If you would like to support us and become a paid member, then you can ask Intimate Alien a question every month and she will answer you privately. I think a great question to ask her would just be like, what's an encouraging message for me? Or what does my higher self want me to know right now? Or tell me something really cool about myself that I might not know. Like, she can go deep and not even have to be in the room with you or know you because she can feel your energy. And it's really cool. I'm always blown away when she does this, by the way, because I obviously don't know you either. Well, I might know you, but I was doing a live event with her once, and somehow it just happened so that everyone in the room was like, tell me my star origin. She was just telling everybody like what part of the galaxy they're from, which was so fun. And they were all nodding as she was talking. And then we went to this one woman, and I knew what Intimate Alien was going to say. She was going to say that they were a mermaid. And I was like, because I'm in there, I'm hearing it all. And I was nervous to say this thing that Intimate Alien was going to say because I was like, are people really mermaids? I had just never come across that before. And she said it. And then all her friends that were there with her were like, oh my God, we told you, you know this. Because apparently this lady has like 100 mermaids in her house of all different kinds. So Intimate Alien knows what's up. So if you'd like to ask her a question, just upgrade your Substack membership and she would be happy to oblige you. Once you do that, you just have to send me a message through Substack. So when you're in my page, just click on either the chat button on top or my picture, and it will let you just send me a message, and then Intimate Alien will reply to you. That's it. Okay, everyone. Lots and lots of love. I will see you very soon, and thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Bye for now.